This one? Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to talk about Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua supposedly being finalized for December. We're going to talk about Chris Eubank and Conor Benn, too, and their media workouts. And then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. You feel what I'm saying? But before we get into that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,200 mark. About to hit that 3,300 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. What's going on? What's going on? I hope everybody's doing well. How the family's doing? What's going on? 88 Sports Talk. What up, brother? How you feeling? Chris Maldonado, what up? He said, might as well hit that like on the way in. That shit. I know that's right. You talking that? My man came in here speaking facts off rip. You feel me? Shout out to my boy Chris Maldonado. We got a link, brother. Chris, let me know, bro. We got a link, man. What's up? You gotta come over for one of the fight parties, man. That's your invitation. Don't be bitching. Don't be one of them friendly internet niggas, and when you see niggas in person, you want to be all shy and shit. I won't do that. We men. Coffee Plan, what up? He said, you think Eubank gonna win the rematch? With Bomac in his corner, I know that he's gonna be well prepared. And I don't think it's gonna be like this impulsive fighting on either side, to be honest with you. I think that both of these guys wanted to fight each other so bad. They basically went in there and tried to break each other and try to prove who had more heart than the other and things of that nature. I think that Conor Benn understood he was too emotional in the first fight, so he's gonna be looking to be more smooth, more calculated, and have his emotions removed. Chris Eubank, I think he's thinking much of the same. I think he understands that he's the superior boxer to Conor Benn, and he understands he's the bigger man. So with Bomac, they're going to be moving off of strategy and not emotions as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this is going to be – I don't think this second fight is going to be as exciting as the first. It's going to have moments for sure where, you know, they're going to have to showcase their heart. You know what I mean? There's going to be somebody whose back is going to be against the wall, and they're going to have to fight their way out of this situation. So I think that this second fight is going to be mainly based off of strategy. You know what I mean? But I do think with Brian McIntyre, Bomac, and Chris Eubank's corner, I think that's really going to play a huge difference in this fight. Unless Chris Eubank just got old, you know what I mean? Unless he just gets old in this fight and, you know, just gets packed up, then that's one thing. There's nothing that Bomac could do about that. If a fighter gets old overnight, it is what it is. But if Chris Eubank still has some gas left in the tank, he got Bomac in his corner with the team that they have. They're going to know exactly how to approach somebody like Conor Benn. You know what I mean? Bomac has a shit ton of experience with explosive pressure fighters and knowing exactly how to go about them. I think it's really going to come down to, you know, Chris Eubank and what he has left in the gas tank. If he's, you know, running on E, this might be Conor Benn's fight to win. You know, but if it isn't, and, you know, he's well conditioned, he's well prepared, you know what I mean, his mental and his physical are aligned, I got Chris Eubank winning this fight. You know what I mean? Damn, we see a whole bunch of comments just rolled in. God damn. Josh Goodman, what up? He said, what round does Brian Norman get the job done? I don't know if he gets the job done. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if he defeats Devin Haney. There's some things about Brian Norman that we haven't really seen yet. So he's gonna have some questions to answer in this fight with Devin Haney for sure. This is definitely a step up for Brian Norman. Bethanuel, what up? There's a live interview of Virgil Ortiz on Jamel Herron's channel. Shout out to Jamel Herron for giving back to the boxing community. Agent 86, what up? Teacher Selvin, what's going on, brother? He said pack Jake up. We're gonna talk about it because I don't know, man. I don't know. That sounded a little bit too good to be true. Not on Joshua's end, but on Jake Paul's end. You know what I mean? Ralph, what up? Every time I hear Ralph's name, it reminds me of Wale. When Wale had that song Ambition, he'd be like, Ralph. Carl Arline, what up? Derek the Maestro Moore in the building, part of the Mazuma mob. What up, brother? He said, "Ma, what up? I'm hearing they already making Virgil Duck boots for Earl Spence. That's their intentions. That's their intentions. You know, I think Virgil Ortiz's team understands that, or they're under the impression that the Jerron Boots Ennis fight is not ready yet. You know what I mean? Neither one of them got world titles. I think they're trying to play the marinating angle. I think that's what they want. I think they want this fight to marinate a little bit longer before they cash their boy out. You know, Golden Boy like to take their time. You know what I mean? They like to keep guys undefeated and, you know, in hopes of creating a star. But the demand is too high. You know what I mean? And if it's a situation where, you know, Virgil Ortiz takes another fight outside of Jerron Ennis, it's gonna look really bad. And it's definitely gonna have an effect on his reputation, in my opinion. You know what I mean? What's going on? What's going on? The fuck is I'm you talking about? Is that like something in the Bible? What is that? Acts 16, chapter 16, verse 31. What is that? The fuck is he talking about? Is that in the Quran or something? I'm confused. I never read the Quran, so I don't know. What is that? Somebody needs to tell me what that is. Believe in Adonhi Yahusha Ha Mashiach. I don't know what the fuck he talking about. But it is what it is. Acts is a book in the Bible. Yeah, I figured that. That's why I said, like, what is he talking about? Yeah, that's definitely not in the Quran. I figured that. But once I saw Acts, I figured it was the Bible. I don't know what he talking about. That's Hebrew. Yeah. I'm you on some nut shit. That shit ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. Shout out to my brothers though, man. They're, you know, be tapped in with the Bible and all that. The Quran. Shout out to my Muslims and all that. You feel me? Yeah. My boy Ralph in the building, speaking his mind. He says it's a bad look because mostly everyone in the division is occupied. It makes the most sense now. Yeah, but according to Golden Boy and them, you know what I mean? They feel like the Earl Spence fight makes more sense. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think they're trying to build Virgil profile up a little bit more. They probably want to make him a bigger star in Texas, so they trying to get the biggest Texas star in boxing right now to fight him, Errol Spence. They know what they're doing though. You know what I mean? They see a wounded animal. They trying to take advantage of it. It's almost like if you see a motherfucking wildebeest somewhere limping, you know what I mean? Clearly behind like his pack. And then you see a hyena somewhere like, oh shit, this nigga lag, I'm about to get him. That's probably how they see it. He not that wildebeest ain't as strong as it used to be. You know what I mean? It definitely got some scars from being out there in that field. And you know, it could easily be taken advantage of. That's how I see it. You feel me? The stranger, what up? He said, what up, Mark? What we thinking about this? It's Paul fronting until then last minute. Well, Jake Paul been popping his shit lately, man. I don't know exactly what it is. You know, he calling out everybody from like 135 up to heavyweight. That's just the type time that Jake Paul on. You know, I seen him calling out Francis Ngannou. I seen him calling out AJ a while back. He was calling out AJ, calling out Canelo and all this stuff. Like Jake Paul really out here trying to prove himself. That's what it looked like to me. But you know, it's just so funny how the last time he tried to face like a heavyweight who was actually, you know, young, not an elite heavyweight by any stretch of the imagination, but a heavyweight nonetheless, you know, was Hasim Rahman. I remember that. He Hasim Rahman Jr. And because Hasim Rahman Jr. wasn't at a weight that, you know, Jake Paul deemed suitable, he canceled the fight. I remember that. But that guy is nowhere near Anthony Joshua's level. So I'm wondering what exactly Jake Paul got going on because he moves calculated. You know, like Jake Paul ain't no crash out. He ain't like this dare to be great type of dude. He does everything from a calculated standpoint. He knows what he's capable of. He knows what he's not capable of, despite the shit that he talks. You know what I'm saying? I remember like, he wants to fight. He made that Mike Tyson fight count on paper. Tried to fight Gervonta Davis, but when Alexander Usyk said that he'll fight him, he was talking about fighting Alexander Usyk in MMA. Wait, I thought you was a professional boxer, sir. Don't you want to get rid of this narrative that you're like this, this circus show, and that you're like an actor on Disney, you're a content creator, you're a social media boxer. Don't you want to prove to the people that you're a boxer? Okay, so why is it when one of the top 3 pound for pound fighters of the world is interested in fighting you, you talking about fighting him in an octagon? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is very interesting to me. Where you just picking and choosing what martial art to fight somebody. And it's like, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna beat Usyk in the octagon, brother. Like, the fuck? Like, you probably try to shoot for a takedown and you run into an uppercut with your stupid ass. I got Usyk watching Jake Paul in the octagon anyway, but whatever. It is what it is. That's not what we're here to talk about. The strangers asking what we thinking about this. I don't believe Jake Paul wants to do this fight. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Now, if he ends up doing it, I'll come out and I'll apologize for him. And I give him a shit ton of props for doing it. I would like to know how many rounds it is. For sure. Is this going to be an 8-rounder? Is this going to be a 10-rounder? Is this going to be a 12-rounder? I really want to know, because if it's an 8-rounder, it's like, all right, you know what I mean? Y'all trying to do a short amount of rounds because the less amount of time you in there with AJ, the safer you are. Are you attempting to fight AJ because he's coming off of a knockout loss? Like, what is it? Because there's nothing that tells me from a skill set standpoint that AJ stands a fucking shot. I mean, that Jake Paul stands a fucking shot with Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? Ralph said Jake gonna have it 1-minute rounds. Yo, bro, I would believe some shit like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he pull out the amateur book. You know what I mean? To try to do some 1-minute rounds. You know who do 1-minute rounds in the amateurs? Little 8-year-olds. You know what I mean? Now, that's a fight that I would really like. If Jake Paul really takes that fight, I will give him a shit ton of respect. Like, seriously, because he's significantly smaller than AJ. Like really look at Jake Paul. Like, when he's weighing in and stuff like that. Like, he's a bigger dude, but when he's fighting at heavyweight and stuff, he be looking fat, man. No abs, low key be having love handles. Don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at Jake Paul when he weighed in against Mike Tyson. Right? Like, something just leads me to believe that Jake Paul don't be in that great of shape. And what kind of confirms that suspicion for me is how often he gasses out and how quick he gasses out in fights, because he be dead tired. Once he realizes he can't knock somebody out, he be dead tired. So just take a look at him right here. I wonder what weight he was here. That's actually, what weight did he fight Nate Diaz at? In reality, Jake Paul might be a light heavyweight. For real, for real. We said 8 rounds, 8 minutes. Yo, that would be some shit, bro. And Jake Paul will find the angle to try to make that shit sound good. Look at this picture right here. That was him at heavyweight. Look at the love handles. You know what I mean? No abs whatsoever. Arms not even defined, all like that. No muscle in the chest area. Like, he looked bloated. Now this weigh-in right here, face looks a little sunken in. I wonder what he fought Nate Diaz at. What weight was that fight at? Because that tells me that, okay, he weighed 185 pounds. So 185, yeah, he's really a small cruiserweight, if we being honest. His face looks sunken in at 185. See how he looked there, and he actually got like abs. You feel me? He actually looks a bit more defined in the arms and the shoulder area. That's more of his weight. But when you're fighting at 220 and you looking like this, you're not really a heavyweight, brother. So it's kind of surprising to me. It's kind of surprising to me that he's really finalizing a deal with AJ. I didn't hear Eddie Hearn confirm this at all. He just did an interview not too long ago, but he said that was something that they have spoken about before. So I just find it interesting that out of nowhere they're finalizing a deal. And Eddie Hearn just said this probably like 1 or 2 days ago in an interview. So I mean, there's nothing really much to say about this, this fight because it's not confirmed or anything like that. But according to the rumors that's out here, according to Ring Magazine and things of that nature, they looking to showcase this fight in December, I believe. So it says Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are finalizing a deal for a heavyweight fight. I mean, there's no other way that would go. AJ cannot meet cruiserweight. On Netflix in December in Miami, sources tell the Ring's Mike Coppinger. Paul steps up to fight the former heavyweight champion after his exhibition with Gervonta Davis was canceled. What a fucking switch up, right, y'all? What a fucking switch up. Like, you went from getting ready for a 135 southpaw to a fucking 240, 250 plus pound orthodox heavyweight. Like, two complete opposites. And shit, this is kind of short notice. Y'all, because if you really think about it, we damn near midway through November. Y'all. So it's like, what you got? 4 weeks? 4, maybe 5. You probably could squeeze 5 weeks in to train for this fight. I heard AJ's been in the gym and that he could possibly, get into the ring to get a little quick little bout underneath him and shit like that. So yeah, these guys might be both prepared, and it makes sense. And we got to take this into consideration. This fight is being done by Netflix. So Netflix not going to take no bullshit fight that they feel like they can't sell. You know what I mean? Like, we not going to get another, Jake Paul versus, Anderson Silva. We're not going to get another, Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Like, Netflix not going to put no bread up for that, man. You know what I mean? Like, if Netflix really wants to take that on, it has to be something that's going to have the people's attention. You feel what I mean? And what's really going to get the people's attention is Jake Paul being in some sort of danger. Anthony Joshua will put Jake Paul in some sort of danger. So that's going to be interesting. If Jake Paul actually accepts and signs for that fight and actually steps in that ring with Anthony Joshua, bro, I will give him a lot of respect. But I'm going to tell you this. If AJ puts Jake Paul lights out, I will be a very happy man. Very happy man, because I love what Jake Paul does from a promotional standpoint. I love what he's doing for female boxing. And I've stated this on the record multiple times that I love what he does for Puerto Rico, for what he does for Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? Like, helping out the people during some hard times. During that Hurricane Maria, he was out there, feet on land, giving back to the community. Has that charity organization, Boxing Bullies, where he's renovating boxing gyms all throughout the island. Like, there's a lot of things to respect about Jake Paul, but I'm really not a huge fan of what he does in the ring as a fighter. I'm not. I think he contributes to the dysfunction of boxing. I think he goes against what boxing is really about in terms of the best facing the best, and doing things that add on to your legacy. I think he makes a mockery of the sport. To be honest with you, he really lets you know how corrupt the sport is and how 99.9% of the people in boxing are in it for monetary gain, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. If he ends up the thing is, Jake Paul is such a hot commodity in boxing now that no network is really going to want to see him face anybody that's going to put up minimal effort. And especially with the type of money he's going to be demanding moving forward, they only going to pay him big money if he takes on big fights. So I really think Jake Paul might actually have himself in the corner, and he might have no other choice but to face somebody like Anthony Joshua. You feel me? But if the fight gets done, much respect to Jake, but I need to see him get put out. If somehow, some way he beats Anthony Joshua's whole legacy will go down the drain, in my opinion. He need to go ahead and burn every single outfit that he's had. Burn the gloves that you had when you was an amateur. Burn all your amateur outfits. Sell your gold medal. All your boxing trunks, your boxing boots, all that shit, all that Under Armour shit you got, burn it. I mean, don't even donate it because we don't even need nobody, wearing shit that came from an absolute loser. You feel what I'm saying? You being a 2-time unified champ, we gonna erase that shit like niggas did with Barry Bonds' record. You know what I mean? We gonna go ahead and destroy every article. Every positive thing about you needs to be thrown down in the dumps. There's no fucking way in hell a former gold medalist, a 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, loses to a fucking Jake Paul, bro. I don't give a fuck if it's 1 minute rounds. You better let your motherfucking hands go for those 8 rounds, 8 minutes, nigga. I don't give a fuck if he give you 40-ounce gloves. You better knock that man out. I don't give a fuck if he puts cement blocks on your feet while y'all boxing. You better knock his ass out. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't give a fuck if you got one hand tied behind your back or one leg tied behind your back. Motherfucker, you better get the job done. You need to retire. You need to give up on the sport, and niggas will forever forget about you. And the only thing they'll remember is you getting your ass beat by Jake Paul. So there may be some pressure that may come for that, but I'm sure Anthony Joshua is accustomed to being in high pressure situations. He's been a lot of big fights. You know what I mean? The Vladimir Klitschko fight, the 2 Usyk fights, Joseph Parker fights, the Povetkin fights. AJ done been around. The Daniel Dubois fight that he just lost recently, that was a big fight. You feel me? So I'm sure he's accustomed to being in those situations, but man, Jake Paul should be like a easy sparring partner for you, brother. There's no reason why you lose to Jake Paul. Did you see Virgil on Jamel Herron's show doing I'm Not Ducking campaign? No, I did not. And I'm not ducking campaign.
Well, first of all, no one said it's not going to be next. And it wasn't my idea for him to come out to the fight. So he didn't have to do all that. But he did, right? And I didn't tell him to come into the ring. I just saw that he was in the ring already, so I said, come over here. Since we were already on the subject of the question, right?
Hold on, y'all.
My mind from Spence already at this point. I would still like to fight Spence at some point in the future, but at this point now it's all boots for right now. That's the fight that I would want. But as far as other people saying different stuff, I can't speak on that. But from my words, from my mouth right now, I'm telling you that I would pick that for that fight to happen next.
And what I pick up is that you want the fight, and that's what I believe. I believe you want the fight because just the way the amateur system is, you got to fight the best. You know what I mean? So it's like these fighters are groomed this way. I understand that. So I think you do want the fight. But how do you feel that about the fact that your team don't want the fight? Your manager, your promoter, your father. You know what I mean? How you feel about that?
My manager just wants to fight. He's just being a manager. He wants to make sure that I get paid. That's why I have him as a manager. My promoter wants the fight to happen next. My dad wants it to happen next. He wants me to win for sure. He wants me to prove everybody wrong, and I want to do the same thing. As for the reasons of like I said of other people's answers, I can't give it to you. I don't know. I can't speak for them.
Do you think it's more of an issue of like the venues and where the fight is going to be held, things like that?
No. I think we all know it's going to be in Vegas when that fight happens.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't really go into detail on why other people are answering different answers, but like I said, at the end of the day, when they ask me if I want to fight, I'm going to say yeah. No, don't even worry about it.
Appreciate you, Greg.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Virg. I appreciate y'all for bringing me on, man. I just hope this fight get made because I think it's a great fight. Appreciate y'all. What's up, Jamel?
What's good with you, Greg, man? Good to hear from you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Virgil, I appreciate you even taking all these calls and keep staying with us for an hour. And keeping a straight face.
Falling all day, and then I'll let you go if that's cool with you. Is that all right?
Hey, it's all good, man. Yeah.
Appreciate
But
you.
I just got to add one
Virgil
thing, bro.
Room
One thing
dirty
with
as
you, brother.
shit.
One thing. So you know, every time you fight after your celebration, you gotta speak on the meme. You gotta speak on the meme. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When I'm talking about the kid, yo, when did that start for you, bro? Like who why do people keep thinking that's you?
Cool.
It's the hairline, bro. And you know what?
Yo,
I
had to bring that up because you said you know when you was excited that you had to fight in the blue ball. I said, well, you know, after you won that fight, you know, I'm pretty sure you get that problem with, you know what I mean?
I don't know, bro. I can kind of see it. The thing is, I can't even like fight against it. I can see why that they would think that. It's the hairline, bro.
Yo, the timeline goes flooded every time this man fights and wins, and like yo, Virgil's out here celebrating.
I don't know, bro, but that is just a crazy coincidence. I get people asking me that all the time, bro.
Nah, we know how to mark. We gotta mess with you on that one, man. But it's good. It's good to see you, man. I'm happy for you, brother. Again, man. Like I said, we wanted the fans wanted.
Bro, if that was me, bro, if I was Boots, I'd call in. I swear to God, bro. That's how you would promote a fight. I would straight call and be like, yo, pussy, you still trying to rumble? But, yo, Virgil seemed like he changed his mind. Y'all heard that? He said, man, I ain't even worried about the Errol Spence fight no more, man. I want the Boots fight next. Shout out to Virgil Ortiz, dog. Shout out to Virgil. There's a lot to like about Virgil, man. About Virgil. There's a lot to like about him, bro. He ain't no bitch. What you doing? Anyways, crazy. You all right?
Yeah.
Why's you doing that?
Take music.
I don't need it. Yeah, that was definitely Greg. Shout out to Greg for asking good questions, though. You know what I mean? Not many people do that. But he said, yo, he pretty much disregarding the Errol Spence fight. You know what I mean? He said that's a fight that he wants, but he wants it in the future now. Only thing he got his eyes set on is the Jerron Ennis fight. You see what happens when the fans get to talking their shit? Do you see what happens when these fans apply pressure, what it could do to somebody? This is why we need to do this now. That doesn't necessarily guarantee that the Boots fight happens next, but, you know, if both of the fighters clearly want to fight next, then there shouldn't be anybody else that has anything else to say about it. You know what I mean? The promoter, they work for the fighter. The managers, they work for the fighter. The trainers, they work for the fighter. So if the fighter has his eyes set on one fight and, you know, the other opponent has his eyes locked in on the fight as well, these guys need to do their job to make the fights happen, because at the end of the day, the fighters are the ones that they work for. You feel what I mean? So I love it. That made me a bit optimistic. I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of disappointed in Virgil Ortiz's approach initially, saying that, you know, he wants that Errol Spence fight more than Jerron Ennis. You know what I mean? And maybe the zone, you know, applying that pressure, like Reed for him said, maybe that was able to get him to change his mind. Now, we're gonna see. Yeah, Greg definitely sneaked up on the line, though. Shout out to him. Shout out to him for coming through and asking the questions and, you know, not being disrespectful or anything like that. You know what I mean? Just asking the right questions and then getting up out of there. So that was dope. You know what I mean? It's definitely good to see, you know, Virgil Ortiz changing his mind. You know what I mean? I know Boots hasn't changed his mind whatsoever. So hopefully we get to see this fight happen in February, March, April, whatever the case is. I'll take even May. Fuck it. It is what it is. That's one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing, whether there's a title on the line or not. You feel me? That's the fight that needs to happen. You know what I mean? These guys have been associated with each other since both being at 147 pounds. They both at 154. They both interim champions. You know, so not one is over the other whatsoever. You know what I mean? So let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. I didn't even know he was on live. I didn't even know he was chopping it up with the people. So shout out to the nation for, you know, informing us with what's going on. I mean, we was talking about Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, but we just got some great news. Some great news. I don't know if I want to continue on with this live because I don't think this had any.
You know what I mean?
more to
I'm
do.
glad you.
Oh, Virgil already left.
My brother, I got nothing but love for you, Norm, and Jamal. Nothing but love for you guys.
And I hope to hear from you soon, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. Y'all take care. Have
You
a good
too,
night.
brother. Take care of yourself out there.
Man, I'm sure.
For sure. He wants me to prove everybody wrong, and I want to do the same. You could have been up there. You could have.
Hopefully you and Boots can make it happen. Boots, people think that, that you guys are ducking the fight now. I know that you wanted the fight before and they didn't want to fight you. So hopefully we can hash this out because, Virgil, that's the fight that a lot of fans are waiting for, bro.
Thank you. Hey, and I'll let you in on a secret real quick before you leave.
Okay.
Jermel said no to me twice for this fight.
All right, brother.
Wait. So that fight was offered to you?
Respect to the channel, respect to the champ.
Appreciate
Thank you, brother. Thanks. Wait, so the fight with Jermel Charlo was offered to you?
Yep. Twice.
How long ago?
I don't know how long ago it was, but it was
Hold on, Greg.
I would say like a month or two before the Lubin fight got signed.
So around this time.
It was supposed to happen.
It could have been Saturday, pretty much.
It could have been Saturday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I just thought it was really funny that he was saying that, I'm not shit, and in the interviews and stuff, and that or whatever. Like you could have been up there. You could have said yeah, but he didn't. And now he wants to run his mouth.
Not Jermel, not the one who be talking all this crazy shit and then he turning down fights. Oh man, do this nigga gotta get sent to the promised land?
You gotta come down to the promised land, my nigga. 235 acres. We farming our own chickens, homie. Thousands of chickens, thousands. Running around everywhere, quack, quack, quack. Talk about next level shit, homie.
Bro, no way Virgil said Jermel a fake demon, bro. He did not say that. Hold up.
Speaking of Boots Camp, I just want to pull this up. I got my man Greg Hackett on the line real quick before we let you go.
He say that for
Greg,
real?
you there?
Yeah, what's going on, y'all?
What's good, my brother?
No, he
I'm
didn't
chilling.
say that.
I just wanted to say, first of all, congratulations, Virgil. You know what I mean? You did your thing. Got rid of Lubin. You know what I mean? I'm just like curious, like on some real shit, like not even on no funny shit. If the Boots fight wasn't going to be next, then why did his name keep coming up? Like, why was that the main thing that coming up?
Hey, can you say that again? Because the beeping is kind of
I'm
getting
sorry,
to me.
dude. I apologize.
What you shit on D&D, goddammit?
I did.
Norv, you playing around, Norv. I said if the Boots fight wasn't going to be next, then why, like at the press conferences and interviews, if it just wasn't going to be next, then why was his name just coming up?
Well, first of all, no one said it's not going to be next. And it wasn't my idea for him to come out to the fight. So he didn't have to do all that. But he did, right? And I didn't tell him to come into the ring. I just saw that he was in the ring already. So I said, come over here. Since we were already on the subject of the question, right? So, like I said, no one's saying that the fight is not going to happen next. I would love for it to happen. If it, like I said, if it was up to me, I you know what? I've already moved on my mind from Spence already at this point. I would still like to fight Spence at some point in the future, but at this point now, it's all Boots for right now. That's the fight that I would want. But as far as other people saying different stuff, I can't speak on that. But from my words, from my mouth right now, I'm telling you that I would pick that for that fight to happen next.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. That's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. Listen, bro. This nigga Virgil Ortiz got more balls than 98% of these niggas in boxing. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful statement from Virgil Ortiz. He know exactly what it is. He tapped in with the people. He know what the fans want. Salute to the brother Virgil Ortiz. That boy got balls of steel. Let's go, champ. The fuck is they talking about out here, nigga? He felt like Boots can't fuck with him. We saying he can. He said that he's saying Boots can't. You feel me? He was like, you know what, man? I was tripping about that Earl Spence shit, man. We worry about Earl later. I want Boots now. Fuck is they talking about? There you go, Virg.
And what I pick up is that you want to fight, and that's what I believe. I believe you want to fight because just the way that the amateur system is, you got to fight the best. You know what I mean? So it's like these fighters are groomed this way. I understand that. So I think you do want to fight. But how do you feel that about the fact that your team don't want to fight? Your manager, your promoter, your father. You know what I mean? How you feel about that?
My manager just wants to fight. He's just being a manager. He wants to make sure that I get paid. That's why I have him as a manager. My promoter wants the fight to happen next. My dad wants it to happen next. He wants me to win for sure. He wants me to prove everybody wrong, and I want to do the same thing. As for the reasons like I said, of other people's answers, I can't give it to you. I don't know. I can't speak for them.
Do you think it's more of an issue of like the venues and where the fight is going to be held, things like that?
No. I think we all know it's going to be in Vegas when that fight happens.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't really go into detail on why other people are answering different answers, but like I said, at the end of the day, when they ask me if I want to fight, I'm going to say yeah. No, don't even.
So he pretty much saying, fuck what they talking about. Fuck what my pop talking about. Fuck what my manager talking about. Fuck what Oscar talking about. I don't know why they saying the shit that they saying, but I'm telling you right now, if they ask me if I want to rumble, I'm going to say yeah. You know what I'm saying? Cal Bundy in the building. What up, brother? He said, feel as though he got pressured into the mind change. Listen, man, if that's what got to be, I'll take that. I'll take that reason all day. I hope more fighters get pressured into mind changes. You feel me? Like, boxing fans done had enough, bro. You know what I mean? We sick of getting fights late. We sick of not getting the fights that we want. We sick of motherfuckers being ducks, bro. At this point, bro, as boxing fans, we got to unite. Even if we don't like the same fighters, even if we don't have the same viewpoints, we should all have, this one thing in common. We want to see the best fighters fight the best fighters. Hold your favorite fighter accountable. Put the sport of boxing first. And if the boxer that you prefer isn't out here really, catering to your needs and, giving you the best fights possible, then why support them? Why support them? Why support fighters who are not giving you what you want? Why commit to a woman if they're not giving you what you deserve as a man? You feel what I mean? It's the same concept. Why support a barber if they never on time for your haircuts? Why support a barber if they every time you sit down in their chair, they fucking you up? Why support a barber if they can never fit you into their schedule? It's the same concept, bro. If you put because nowadays these toxic boxing fans, these parasites, these parasitic boxing fans are they care more for the well-being of the fighter. They care more about, being a fan of a man instead of being a fan of the sport first. And that's absolutely insane. Not saying that you can't be a fan of the fighter. You know what I mean? By all means, be a fan of the fighter, but you got to prioritize the sport first. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of LeBron James fans out here. He has one of the biggest fan bases I've ever seen. They go hard for LeBron, but guess what? What comes first is basketball. You feel me? So, let's say LeBron James is talking about how, he don't want to play these certain teams, or he doesn't want to he doesn't want to do particular things. He's going to lose fans as a result of that. This only seems. I feel like boxing fans are the most disrespected fans in sports because we'll call for something. The fighters will say "fuck you" because they think you're going to support them regardless, and they go do whatever the fuck they want to do until they feel like visiting that fight that you're requesting. By the time they look around for that fight, it's already 5, 6, 7 years too late. Definitely be fanagers, Ralph. That's a fact. You know what I mean? So I like the fact that people on social media pressuring these fighters to do something. You know what I mean? And on some real shit, I'm glad Erickson Lubin didn't win. I hate to say that, to be honest, but how the way Erickson Lubin was talking in the lead up to the Virgil Ortiz fight, he was acting like the Boots fight didn't make sense. And you know what I mean? Pretty much Boots got to earn his way, just like Virgil Ortiz's dad was running around saying that the Boots fight don't make no sense for Virgil Ortiz. I'm happy you got knocked out on your feet. I'm happy you got packed with the quickness because you would have taken away from one of the best fights that could be made in your division. You know what I mean? You was going to try to take that one with Virgil Ortiz and go ahead and go back knocking off on door. Nah, son. Nah. Take your flathead ass back to Florida with that ass whooping, nigga. Fuck out of here. Shit, real old, bro. These motherfuckers that really sit here and be like, oh, man, you know what I mean? Fuck these boxer fans, man. I'm going to do whatever's best for me and my career. Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck, because without the fans, you wouldn't have a career, you fucking idiot. Y'all ever thought that? I never heard David Benavidez say fuck the fans. Never. Never. You know why? Because he understands that with him having, the fans that he has, that's the people that's going to put money in his pockets in order to feed his family. I never heard Floyd say fuck the fans. Somebody please tell me I'm wrong. When has Floyd ever said fuck the fans? I heard him say fuck the haters. But I've never heard him say fuck the fans. You know why? Because those fans was the reason why he was getting 9-figure checks multiple times throughout his career. As boxing fans need to stop taking disrespect from these clowns, bro. You feel me? Now, Virgil Ortiz had gotten this DM saying that, I hope something happens to you. I hope you get unalived or some crazy shit like that. And then Virgil tried to throw that on fans. Nigga, that's not a fan. Do you know what a fan is? Did he really? Teach said he never said F them, but he said do what you want to do. I did what I wanted to do. Well, part of what he wanted to do was legacy defining shit. Beating the most world champions in boxing history. Becoming a 5-division world champion. Giving us some of the biggest fights in the sport's history. That's what he did. So I'm not mad that he did what he wanted to do because it helped boxing. He beat some of the, there was some fighters that he didn't fight, but for the most part, he fought everybody and their mom. Like, look at Floyd's resume. If Floyd said he did what he wanted to do and he gave us all of these great fights, what he wanted to do was in line with what boxing fans wanted. Look at who he fought throughout his career from the very beginning. Gennaro Hernandez, who was a champion at the time, got his first world title. Beat up on Diego Corrales, great fight. The Arturo Gatti fight, one of the best performances of his career. Zab Judah, great fight. Miguel Cotto, great fight. Marcos Maidana twice, great fight. Jose Luis Castillo twice, great fights. Carlos Baldemir, Shane Mosley, great fight. Manny Pacquiao, a young Canelo Alvarez. If you want to count the Robert Guerrero one as a good fight, fuck it, it is what it is. Robert Guerrero. He ended his career with a former world champion, Andre Berto. Chop Corley. He fought a lot of killers, man. Floyd fought a lot of killers, bro. You feel me? Like, I can't be mad at Floyd. Floyd said he did what he wanted to do, and a lot of the things that he did benefited the sport. Come on now. He ain't walk away. See, the thing with Floyd was, did he make us wait a long time for the Manny Pacquiao fight? Possibly, but guess what? Floyd offered that fight for Pacquiao multiple times. Pacquiao turned it down. Everybody loved to blame Floyd for that. People love to blame Floyd for why the Floyd Pacquiao fight took so long. But little do y'all know, Pacquiao was turning down offers. Offered that man $40 million. $40 million. Pacquiao said 50-50 or no fight. They hung up the phone. Nigga, you made a name off me and you want 50%. The only reason why you became the star you was because you built your name off of Floyd Mayweather. You want 50%? You know, turning down fights because of, you know, drug testing and shit like that. Like, but anyways, Floyd Mayweather, he never went out of his way to disrespect his fans. He showed love to his fans. Look at his TMT shirts. That man has a TMT shirt with every flag imaginable on that motherfucker. He had the TMT logo with the Mexico flag, the Canadian flag, the Argentina flag, the Puerto Rico flag I even seen before, the US flag. Like, I've seen him show love to multiple, the UK flag. Like, I've seen him show love to every fan base because he knows that doesn't matter if they black, white, brown, purple, they gonna cut a check to see him fight. So why would he disrespect them? The Philippines flag, I remember that in the Pacquiao fight. And there was motherfucking Filipinos in the crowd that was supporting Floyd. Crazy. Crazy. I remember that. I remember seeing a video with an Asian dude with a Filipino TMT shirt on. Floyd Zab versus Mayweather was one of the best matchups. Yeah, it had some controversy in it too, a little bit of drama, all that. Nah, just fighting Robert Guerrero was an F the fans fight. It was a bad attempt at comedy. Well, Floyd was coming off of that jail stint. He had did a few months in jail, and they said that he put on a lot of weight in jail. That he put on a lot of muscle. Because they said he was getting up to like 1,500 push-ups a day in jail. So he was looking at it like, you know what I mean? I'm coming off of this, you know, this prison stint or whatever the case is. Showtime probably wanted to give him like a welcome fight. Because I think when he got out of jail, he had signed that deal with Showtime, and his first fight was Robert Guerrero. So he ended up fighting Robert Guerrero as like his first fight coming off of like a sentence. I think it was only like 3 months, but nigga, go ahead and do 1,500 push-ups a day for 90 days, and then you fucking chisel to the max, probably like 160 plus pounds, and you gotta cut all that muscle down. That's a process, bro. He probably wanted to see how he felt, and then, I mean, he gave us some great fights after that. The Maidana fights was lit. He had a Filipino flag on his trunks for his last exhibition. Yeah, Floyd always show love to the people, bro. But yeah, man, I'm glad that the pressure done caught up to Ortiz. I don't know if it was the fans. I don't know if it was the zone. He didn't mention the zone, but he did mention the fans. You know what I mean? He be tapped in, seeing what the people saying and shit like that. So shout out to the fans for holding fighters accountable. Shout out to the zone for understanding that, you know, that Errol Spence and Virgil Ortiz fight was not a desirable fight. You know what I mean? May have not been profitable at all in comparison to the Virgil and Ennis fight, you know, from a network standpoint. Probably would have sold tickets in Texas, but, you know, from like a streaming aspect and getting subscriptions over at the zone, it probably wouldn't have been too profitable. So, you know, I mean, they probably recognized that and put, you know, pressure on Virgil and his team, you know, after the fact. But, yeah, man. Pagabati said, he says, for the Filipino, TMT mean the Manny team. Yeah, I remember Manny Pacquiao said that. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. But you're not the man. If you buy a TMT shirt, you're supporting Floyd. Because Manny Pacquiao had his own shirts. Manny Pacquiao had his own shirt. So if you go out your way to buy a TMT shirt, think you supporting Pacquiao, you a damn fool. You just put money in Floyd's pocket for that. And Floyd was getting a percentage of all those sales, from what I understand. What was Robert Guerrero doing prior to the Floyd Mayweather fight? Did he like have some good wins? Or like, I know he beat up on Andre Berto with that behind the head, holding the back of the head, punching him. What was he doing before the Floyd fight? Oh yeah, he had just beat. Yeah, he beat up on Andre Berto. Dropped Andre Berto a couple times. I remember that. That might have been Robert. That might have been the best version of Robert Garcia that anybody's seen. Yeah, I mean, because he had a loss, but he avenged that loss. And then he ran into Floyd, and his whole career went downhill after that. Keith Thurman really damaged Robert. He was never the same after that fight. Yeah, Keith Thurman ruined Robert Guerrero, for sure. Shout out to the 37 people that's in the building, man. Y'all go ahead and hit the likes. Yeah, I remember that, Lorenzo. I don't know why the fuck Andre Berto thought it was cool to pull out that Philly shell against Robert Guerrero. Like, nigga, when you ever been an expert at the Philly shell, nigga? Never. Like, what? Where did he get that from? Niggas be doing a Philly shell, don't even know how to roll a punch. It's like, bro, what is y'all doing? Do y'all understand the mechanics behind the Philly shell? Do you know why the hands are placed where they placed? Do you know how you tuck your chin into your shoulder? Do you know how to catch the jab? You know how to roll the right hand? You know how to catch the left hook? You know how to block the body with the forearm? Like, bro, this shit ridiculous, bro. You know how to create offense off of the shell, or you just simply defensive? Shit, I don't know, bro. Motherfuckers just be doing shit. They'll see somebody do it on TV and think they could do it, bro. No, there's a science behind that defense. There's a science to every defense that's in boxing. You know what I mean? Whether it's the high guard, head movement. You take a certain level for you to have efficient head movement or elite head movement. It takes timing. You know what I mean? It takes great vision to see the shot and react promptly. You know that Philly shell ain't something that you just learn overnight. That shit could really get you knocked out. You know how many people I done seen try to do the shoulder roll, the Philly shell, and get put on their ass or even knocked out? Plenty, bro. Plenty. Just like motherfuckers who try to emulate Mike Tyson with that peekaboo style. Oh, I learned from Mike Tyson. I love the peekaboo defense. Motherfuckers be moving their head side to side. They come back to the center line, run into some hot shit. Boop, boop, boop. Like throwing punches all wide, missing like a motherfucker, falling over their feet. Be looking goofy as hell. The Philly shell fighters and the Mike Tyson peekaboo style fighters are the worst fucking fighters ever, bro. They swear they Mike. They swear they Floyd. Robert Guerrero's punch resistance left after Thurman. Yeah, because he took a beating, man. He took a real bad beating from Keith. And that was prime Keith, too. I mean, it ain't the Keith that you should be getting punched by. You feel what I'm saying? Because, like, at the time that, like, Thurman had a high knockout ratio, bro. Like, he wasn't just, like, some regular punching-ass nigga, bro. Especially at that time. Robert really took a beating. He got outclassed. He got beat up bad. And that one knockdown that Keith had gotten over him was really ugly. He said he called it the Harrisburg hook eater. That's crazy. Shout out to my niggas from Harrisburg that really be rumbling though. Harrisburg got some good fighters, man, especially in the amateurs. I love going up against Harrisburg because I know I'm gonna have a good fight. My boy Derek Moore in the building. He know what it is. We fought Harrisburg a few times. Beat them all too. Let's go, champ. R3 says, do you think it's possible that Ortiz's simplistic style can defeat a more dynamic style like Boots Ennis, given that there could be more room for error with a style like Boots? That's a great question. Sometimes simple is better, and sometimes keeping it simple could, be beneficial for you. This is the thing, though. Boots is dynamic. He definitely has the more dynamic style. Boots is flashier. He puts his punches together more. He's more of a showman in the ring. Virgil, he's a straight killer. You know what I mean? He comes in behind his fundamentals. Very intelligent, in my opinion. I think that gets overlooked because people just see him as a puncher for some reason. But he sets his punches up. He's thinking in there. He's countering. He's countering with his jab. He's countering with his right hand. He's a marksman as well. He places his body shots really well. He's able to maintain his defense even on the inside. Got good head movement from the outside, good timing. Virgil Ortiz is a problem, y'all. He's a problem. But the thing about Virgil Ortiz is for him to be effective against somebody like Jaron Ennis, he's gonna have to be aggressive. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to be taking some chances, and with how fast Jaron Ennis is, and him being a hard puncher as well, I think it's safe to say that there's gonna be points in time where Boots is gonna run Virgil into shots, and they're not gonna feel so good. So, Ortiz's style could definitely pose Jaron Ennis some fits, but I do think that with the type of speed, the explosiveness, the power, the timing, Boots' counter-punching ability, because we seen Boots counter effectively and really put dudes' lights out. Like I could really see Virgil Ortiz getting hit with a lot of clean shots, especially as the fight goes on. And I see him wearing down. I see Boots stopping him late, like round 10. You feel what I'm saying? That's just me, though. And that's if Virgil don't get caught early. You know what I mean? J Cash said, let's go, champ. Facts. '88 Sports Talk says Ortiz will give Boots problems. Boots tends to have lapses in his defense, getting hit for no reason when he should be boxing. I think that he had those lapses in defense. I mean, only he knows. But, I feel like he did that with competition that he didn't really, deem to be a concern. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he took those – I think he was a bit reckless with Evanesia because he felt like Evanesia didn't have nothing for him. I think he got a little bit reckless with Karen because he beat him previously. He wasn't motivated for the fight. And, he just wanted to try to get him up out of there. I think with Virgil, I think he's going to understand that Virgil is a threat, that he is a good fighter. So I think he's going to come correct for that one. I think he's going to come correct. And, I think he's going to be focused. I think you're going to see an elite jab. I think you're going to see some, even he's going to mix some movement in there. I'm going to see him, putting combinations together, bringing his hands back, being sharp. I think that we're going to see a more focused, game plan having Boots in this fight. You feel what I mean? I don't think this is going to be Boots that's just going to be going in there, being reckless. Boots has shown y'all in the past that he could be extremely elusive. He could be extremely elusive if he decides to turn that switch on. You feel me? That's just something that I've noticed, and I've seen it in the gym. I've seen dudes throwing combinations and can't land a single punch on Boots. I was surprised that my amateur had actually landed a couple shots on Boots. But that's because, my amateur and my, to be fair, the amateur kid I got, he's the goods. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he got really fast hands. He's really athletic. And he does throw unorthodox punches at times. So there's nothing you can really prepare for. But, Boots is extremely elusive. Great defense. He can have good head movement. He slips shots. You know, I've seen him catch. He rolls punches really well. He catches punches really well. He slips punches really well. He's very dynamic with his defense for sure. 88 Sports Talk follows up and says, but I do have Boots stopping Virgil late because Virgil only knows one way but to come forward and his demise will follow after. Just look at how the way Boots, and I'm not saying that any of these guys are the equivalent of Virgil Ortiz, but look at the guys that he's faced previously that have attempted to come forward and put pressure on him. It's never really ended well. Because Boots has the power to stand his ground. It's not like he a pillow puncher. And Virgil's gonna walk through his punches. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. Boots has speed. He throws combinations. His conditioning is elite A1. You've never seen Boots tired in the ring. You've never seen Boots tired in the ring. You've never seen him fatigued in the ring. You've never seen bad body language. None of that. He's a killer for it. He seems like he gets stronger as the rounds go on. His speed doesn't go anywhere. He sees the punches. He has great reflexes. You know, he has it all. And he can fight at any range. Now, is Virgil going to be – and everybody keep talking about what Virgil could do, Okay, well, what happens when Virgil gets hit with a good body shot on the inside? What happens when he starts getting his body ripped? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going to happen when Virgil's at the end of, you know, this assault? Then what? Because everybody keep talking about what Virgil dishing out as if, you know, Boots ain't a hard puncher himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody keep talking about Virgil being the big puncher as if Boots don't got a high knockout ratio himself. I've actually seen Boots knock people out with one punch more often than Virgil Ortiz has. But let y'all tell it. Virgil's the big power puncher that Boots needs to be aware of. You know, I think y'all underestimating John Ennis's punching power. I would compare Virgil to a Stanionis style-wise. Okay, Reform, well, you know, that's your opinion. You know, then go watch Boots versus Stanionis. You tell me how competitive that fight was. It's one of the best fights of John Ennis's career. Bella Faith in the building. I ain't see you all day. What's going on? She said, I don't buy this fight. It's happening next. The manager keeps reposting Tim Bradley rants on top of the money that he wants. You reposting Tim Bradley just let you know that you in the wrong. Because Tim Bradley always defending some fuck shit. It's almost like Tim Bradley, and that's really annoying, bro. I hate motherfuckers who love to play the devil's advocate. I hate motherfuckers that go out of their way to be contrarians. I hate it. Like, they would agree with you, they'll still find a way to try to give you some type of pushback, like on some sassy, bitter baby mom shit. Just always try and clap back and say something to try to get on your nerves. Like, Tim Bradley one of them. And you a coon on top of that, bro. Like, it's just super weirdo activity. But you know, you say you don't buy that the fights happening next because of what the manager is saying and talk about all the money that he wants. Now, the manager could definitely interfere with this fight. But at the end of the day, that's what the manager is supposed to do. He's supposed to get as much money that he can up out of a fighter. You know, he could be saying, you know how like motherfuckers that shoot high. Let's say Virgil and them will be willing to take $5. And I'm not saying this is a number, but let's say they're looking for $6 million to fight Boots, right? Let's say it's $6 million. They're not gonna tell whoever they're negotiating with that they want $6 million. No, they're not. Because most likely they're gonna end up offering something lower than that. If I want to get $6 million, I'm gonna tell them that I want 12. All right, well, can you do? All right, let's meet us in the middle. Can you do 6? Bingo, that's what I wanted this whole time. Let's do it. Maybe that's just a negotiation tactic that they having over there. But what I'm gonna also say is, and I know Virgil's better than Stanionis. I know that. But at the same time, you know, they do share some things in common. That's why when they both announced they was fighting each other, a lot of people was excited because they both knew that those guys were going to be coming to the ring the same way. You feel me? But to go back to that original comment, the manager, the promoter, and the father, they all work for their son. You know what I mean? I just hope that Virgil takes it upon himself to be more assertive. Like, bro, that's the fight I want. Want no fight outside of that. Go make it happen. They're going to be put in a position where they have no other choice but to make the fight. You know why? Because they can't force the fighter to do anything they don't want to do. And the fighter is the reason why they make money. So you have to attend to their wants and their needs. Simple. What if Virgil hit Boots and Boots isn't fazed by it? He's done. He's done. If Virgil hits Boots with a good shot, like a right hand or a left hook, whatever the case is, and Boots don't go nowhere, that's going to be a long fucking night for Virgil. Now, I don't want Boots to take that chance because Virgil can crack. Obviously, we see how the way Erickson Lubin was responding, getting hurt early in the fight and shit like that. I don't want you taking them chances, Boots. I really don't. You box a smart fight. You know what I mean? You do your best to hit and not get hit. You know what I mean? Use all your tools, man. Use your jab. You know what I mean? Place that, keep stabbing to that body. You feel what I mean? It might be a short night. Who it might be a short night for, Bella? Virgil has no choice but to make it ugly. Yeah, 88, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Him making it ugly would involve him taking some risk. And we don't know if Ortiz can handle Boots' punch. We don't know that. We don't know that. Making it ugly involves letting your hands go, pushing a fighter back. You making it ugly is pretty much like, it's like basically being okay with being hit or taking punishment. See, I'm confident in what Jaron Ennis can do, and that's why I'm so confident in making my choice that he'll win. Virgil's very talented. She said for Virgil, if she can't hurt him, remember where T has been dropped multiple times. Yeah. By guys who, can punch but are significantly slower than Boots. Bohachuk is significantly slower than Boots, bro. So imagine having a guy who could crack like, Jaron Ennis, but then has triple the speed of a fucking Bohachuk. Like that's an issue. That's an issue because now not only do you got to worry about somebody's punching powers, you got to be worrying about seeing every shot that come your way. Because the moment they hit you with something that you don't see, that's when shit could go left. And Virgil, great finishing ability, great punching power. Boots is a very good finisher too. He's one of the best finishers in boxing. I got Terrence Crawford at number 1. I don't know exactly where he plays Boots, but he's up there in my opinion. Great finisher. There's not many times where Boots gets somebody hurt and he doesn't finish him. If he got you hurt, shit gonna go left. For real though. I've seen dudes laying clean shots on Boots. Like who? I seen like Thomas Delorme hit Boots with a good shot. He ate it. I seen Stan Jonas land like a good, I thought it was like a lead right hand or a jab. It was one of those straight shots. I never seen Boots I seen Boots get like hit with a shot that kind of like threw off like his balance a little bit and shit like that. But I never seen anything where he was like rocked or like, really hurt or anything like that. Not saying that he can't. Anybody could get clips. Anybody could be knocked out. Anybody could be hurt. But yeah. I just love how there's this narrative going around that like Virgil, they make it seem like Virgil's like so much, it's like the more powerful, strong guy. Like, y'all don't know that definitively, man. Because I know y'all ain't thinking Boots a pillow puncher. Because Brian Norman's sissy ass around here, Brian Norman Sr. sissy ass running around here saying that shit is not true. Shit is not true at all. But like I said, if Boots could walk through one of Virgil's punches, Virgil's going to be in a lot of trouble. But I tell you this, I don't want Boots to find out. I want him to box really clean. I want him to outclass Virgil. And if he hurts Virgil in the process, it is what it is. Get him up out of here. You feel me? But we got any last questions before we get up out of here, man? Check this shit out. So I'm supposed to be off work tomorrow, but I still gotta come into work early because I gotta take care of some operation shit over at the job site. You know what I mean? So still gotta wake up early, gotta go in there, take care of some business, then I'm right out the door. But damn, that shit annoying. Super annoying. We got any last questions before we get up out of here, y'all? I am very tired. My apologies for that. As soon as I get done with that shit at my job, I'm gonna go ahead, take my ass home and go right back to sleep. Also looking to bring Tito Mercado back on the channel soon. Yeah, I mean, let me see. Did he respond? Let me see something. No, he ain't respond yet. Setting up the interview with Tito Mercado soon. So have I seen Brian Norman Jr. and Haney's interviews in the face of? I seen Brian Norman's like one-on-one with Chris Mannix. Brian Norman, I like Brian Norman, man. I mean, I didn't really like that Jerron Ennis situation, but besides that, there's a lot to like about Brian Norman Jr., bro. I think he's well spoken. I think he has a great personality, very confident. Definitely got a charisma about him that's to be liked for sure. He's actually a fighter that I wouldn't mind being a fan of, to be honest. I mean, plus he got an exciting style. And, you know, historically, my favorite fighters have always been big punchers. Historically. Traditionally, my favorite fighters have been big punchers. And Brian Norman, he could crack with both hands. And he's a legitimate threat to Devin Haney. So if he were to beat Devin Haney, I would not be surprised. I would not. I think Devin Haney's going to pull it off. I think he's going to outbox him. I think he's going to outpoint Brian Norman. But I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Norman do his thing. Shock the world. Do some shit. You know what I mean? Dangerous fight for Haney, bro. You know, Brian Norman got the explosiveness. He got the power. He got speed. I love how he punches in combinations, and he's eager to learn. That's something to really like about Brian Norman too. He's eager to learn. Like I'm listening to his interviews, and he's saying how, you know, he's always learning. He's always getting better because he always knows there's things to work on. You gotta love that about a fighter. You know, somebody who knows that they're not a perfect fighter, don't got their head up their ass, don't think they shit don't stink. You feel what I mean? Like they really go in, bro. They put their work in, they put their time, effort, they put their heart and soul in the camp. And they strive to get better, become better versions of themselves. You feel what I'm saying? I did see them, and you know, Brian Norman had a little funny remark, alluding to, speaking on Devin Haney stealing Floyd Mayweather lines. I've been telling y'all that. I've been telling y'all that these young dudes have been stealing Floyd Mayweather's like go-to sayings for years now. Remember I showed y'all that Richardson Hitchens, John, where this nigga literally copy and pasted an old Floyd Mayweather like interview and said it out loud. He was like, shit is fucked up in boxing. You know what I mean? We got this person doing this. We got this person doing that. What the fuck is going on? Floyd Mayweather said that while he was jogging, talking about Victor Ortiz. Richardson Hitchens literally sounded like he practiced that in the mirror, trying to sound like Floyd. You know, we be having fighters saying, like I said before, like I said before, like I said before. Who y'all got that from? He's a C+ fighter. I'm an A+ fighter. Where y'all got that from? All these niggas be influenced by Floyd. I tell y'all, Floyd is probably the most influential fighter of all time, just based off of how the way he influenced this younger generation. Devin was definitely like upset about that. Now, what do I think in terms of Devin Haney calling? So Bella follows up. This is actually a good question. Is Dev making a mistake labeling him as a bum? He could be, and he could not be. I'm gonna tell you why. He could be because that's probably exactly what he thinks of Brian Norman. He probably feels like Brian Norman is inexperienced. he never fought at this level. You know what I mean? He's just a puncher, and he's just gonna strip him of his power and stuff like that. And if he thinks Brian Norman is just that, that could be him underestimating Brian Norman in a way, right? But on the other hand, it could be Devin just trying to play psychological games, just trying to belittle him, trying to get underneath, Brian Norman's skin. You know what I mean? He could be saying that for a multitude of reasons. I can't pinpoint one particular thing and claim that's why he's saying what he's saying. It could be him saying exactly how he feels, and as a result, he could be underestimating him, or he might make Brian Norman look like a bum in the ring. You never know. You know what I mean? Or he might just be saying it like he might have, respect for Brian Norman. He might have respect for Brian Norman, but it's like, you're not on my level, so to me, you a bum. Or maybe he's just trying to get under his skin, which I don't think is working, by the way. I don't think Norman's fazed by what Devin Haney says at all. He's not getting emotional whatsoever. Very, very stable. He's very stable emotionally. For Brian Norman Jr. to be as young as he is and how he just maintains composure no matter what, that's admirable, man. Like when those security, I ain't gonna lie. Like if anybody, like I don't give a fuck who they are. Somebody gripped me up how the way they gripped him up, especially if my father was the other one they gripped, bro. That security guard wasn't that made it home. I'd have fucked that money up. I would have fucked that money up because my respect means more to me than any money. And for real, y'all gotta run it too. Just because that's your man's, you need you getting it too. That's just me. Like I don't give a fuck how much money we make. I don't give a fuck. Like the moment that you put hands on me, you fuck the money up because I wasn't looking for trouble, but I'm about to finish this shit. You feel me? Like Brian Norman still composed. He was smiling. The dude had him gripped up. He was smiling. Devin Haney pushed him at the press conference. He's smiling. Nah, Bella, you got to understand. You talking about you can't fuck the money up. They fucked the money up already. Because it's not like I initiated it. I've reacted to it. You can't tell somebody how to react. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Hassan, but putting a finger on somebody's chest and then pushing somebody, those are two different levels of aggression. You know what I mean? Like putting a finger on somebody's chest, that could be deemed as disrespectful or even aggressive. But you tell me which one is, you tell me which one is the more emotional move. The finger on the chest or full out just pushing somebody. What I'm trying to say is, regardless of what you deem to be, aggressive or not, it's safe to say that Brian Norman Jr. has a great level of composure. You violate, they're going to demonstrate. Yo. I remember when I was a young boy, I used to say that shit. You violate, I demonstrate. Nigga, everybody wanted to be like Floyd, bro. If you was coming up in boxing as a young boy, you seen Floyd with the jewelry, the cars, like he sold you a lifestyle. Everybody wanted to be like Floyd. So I get it. But like, I'm not really too big on, acting like another motherfucker to get your career to the next level. Zeb said that shit a lot too. Well, that's probably who Dev got it from. Ain't that his godfather? Ain't Zeb Jew the Devin godfather? Yeah. They reacted. It was just great that nobody swung or took it further. Bro, the moment that nigga would have put his hands like this, because first of all, they ain't had shit to do with you. That security boy, he was either like told to do that shit by Dev and them, or like he out of fucking control because that the security acting that way. You would think that the nigga Brian Norman Jr. had a burner on him or something. The nigga, he ain't do nothing crazy. Why are you reacting the way you reacted? You acting like they ain't fighters. Like let's say, for example, that security guard would have gripped Brian Norman up, and while Brian Norman was falling back, he dislocated his ankle. or he tear his Achilles, some crazy shit like that. Then what? Then what? Like, that was just a stupid move on that security guard's part. I've never been a fan of security guards anyway. Like, I look at them as motherfuckers who think they above the law. I mean, think they could bully niggas because they big and all that. Whole time, half these niggas can't even fight. I trained a few of them. This be big niggas. This should just be for show. You feel me? Moment that nigga would have put a hand on me, I'd have blacked out. I'd have beat the dog shit out that security guard. He'd have had to rumble me. You'd have had to fuck me up, bro. Because if not, and even if you did, bro, you gonna have to kill me. Cause I'm gonna keep pressing. I don't know how niggas be so cool with just getting gripped up and then, like, I don't know, bro. Like, imagine getting gripped up by a nigga. He fuck your whole shirt up, all that shit. And then the niggas who, you know, was responsible for all that, like, don't fuck the money up. Like, bitch, the money fucked up, nigga, now what? I'd have really took it there. Bill Haney who came out, don't fuck the money up. Man, I'd have came up right on Bill Haney, knocked his shit loose, nigga. Nigga glasses would have been on the fucking 5th floor somewhere. Should have been somewhere with motherfucking bruh man. 5th floor. Shit. Nigga, you took it there. Let's really take it there. Niggas be crazy until some crazy shit happen. He said maybe that's what they wanted. Well, they got it. What you want? Baby, I got it. What you need? Yeah. Speaking of Devin, he just put together like a couple pictures. Brian Norman Sr. commented because one of the photos is him sparring in Saudi. And Brian Norman Sr. commented and said, y'all still sparring in Saudi? I thought you said you was ready now. Brian Norman Sr. talking crazy. I'm going to tell you this too, though. If Brian Norman gets smoked by Devin Haney, bro, Brian Norman Sr. need to go somewhere and shut the fuck up forever, bro. Seriously. All that shit he been talking, he need to shut up forever. Like, this nigga just be babbling. This nigga be talking every day. Senior said all them photos of Dev are Photoshop. Okay. How long does it take to train boxing to defend yourself from the average Joe? Smoking Gumbo asked that question. It all depends on the person, Gumbo. You know what I mean? There's people that pick up boxing relatively quickly. You know, there's people that are slow learners. It all depends on how fast you pick it up. You know what I mean? If you're somebody that, you know, takes a little bit in order to pick up something, it might take a while. But, you know, if you're somebody who catches on to things quick, then, you know, you could be, you know, you can be good at it in a short amount of time. But what I say is, for any of my guys out there, bro, you don't have to compete. You don't have to, you know, do anything with boxing. It don't have to be boxing. All men should know one form of self-defense. Everybody, whether it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, you know, wrestling, Boxing, bro, it don't matter. MMA don't matter. You need to learn how to defend yourself, bro. Do you think that your woman want a bitch, nigga? What's gonna happen if you out with your girl at the mall and the nigga come around and smack your girl ass? What you gonna do? Hey man, what are you doing? Why shouldn't be no talking after that. You need to react. Bearing arms count, that's definitely something that you need, brother. Because not everybody's gonna fight you. I know that personally. But you're not gonna have your arms all the time. But you'll always have your hands. That's the reality. I suggest that everybody get a gun. Have your right, use your right to bear arms, bro. Get as many guns and all the ammo that you can. You never know. You're at liberty to do so. This the land of the free, right? I'm armed. I've had my firearm for 4 years, 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? So learn how to defend yourself, man. Not saying that you might ever have to. You might. It's just like being on the police force. They learn how to shoot a gun, but a lot of cops they never let their gun off. It's good to have just in case. And you want to have that security. You want to have that security within yourself that if something were to happen, you'll be able to hold your own. That's part of being a man, y'all. Okay, you gonna sit for a little minute? How long? That's crazy, bro. Yeah, New York don't play about guns. 2 years, nigga. 2 years for a first offense? But you got caught with a Drake, nigga? God damn. But anyways, bro. Shit. That's crazy. I'm sorry you going through that, brother. Yeah. Training 4 times a week could definitely get you right. Make sure you learn, and the first thing you learn is footwork, bro. Yeah, New York don't play about guns. Yeah. Whenever I go to New York, I make sure I keep my shit at home. I don't be playing with them niggas, bro. And I think they could just openly frisk you too. Like they don't need to have a reason or nothing from what I heard. They could just pat you down if they even deem you to be suspicious, which is discrimination in all honesty, and that's a violation of our rights. I don't understand how they be allowing that shit, but yeah, New York don't play that. Yeah, 4 times a week. Make sure you're learning your footwork, man. You want to learn how to punch going backwards, forward, to your left, and to your right. You want to learn how to use your feet, you know what I mean, moving around the ring. You want to learn how to fully extend your punches, bringing your hands back defensively, understanding the textbook combinations, your jabs, your right hands, your left hooks, your uppercuts, your right hooks. You feel me? Like you want to learn all of that. How to throw your shots short so they can land quicker instead of having them too wide. Understand the different forms of defense, whether it's your feet, catching punches, prairieing punches, rolling, all that, getting out of range with your feet, small little steps back to get you out of range. There's a lot to learn, brother. You ain't gonna learn it all by the time you get in there, but the fundamentals you could get down for sure. And a lot of it is really about being in shape too. Yeah, I seen Kagai getting that title shot. Ain't that some shit? Am I watching Rafael Espinoza fight this weekend? Damn, that's this weekend? I feel like they just announced that shit. I'm tripping or what? Smoking Gumbo said worked a warehouse job. That definitely kept me in shape. Bro, boxing's a different type of shape though, brother. I've worked with players that play for the Philadelphia Eagles. I've worked with fighters that sign with the UFC. Um, Muay Thai are Muay Thai fighters, kickboxers, professional Muay Thai fighters, amateur MMA guys. Don't nothing get you in shape like boxing. They all say it. Former no like professional soccer players. Shit, they tell you, bro. Yeah, bro. Part of an important part to being a good fighter is having endurance, bro. You be surprised how fast people get gassed out in a fight. They'll throw all big shit at you for 30 seconds and then they gasping for air. You still got a full tank, you in a position to really hurt them dudes. Appreciate you, Gumbo. Thank you, man. Drop mad weight just hitting the bag for an hour. Hell yeah, you burn a lot of calories hitting the bag, bro. You really exerting yourself. And when you hitting the bag, you're using a lot of it really incorporates your whole body. You know what I mean? Like your shoulders, your hips, your legs, from bending your knees. That shit tones up your arms, your back, helps you get rid of unnecessary body fat, tones you out, bro. And that's why I always be confused as to why women. If you ever listen to women when they work out and shit, they always talk about how they don't really want to lose no weight. They just want to get toned. But then they in these gym lifting these heavy ass weights. They over here doing lifting weights like they niggas curling 30-pound dumbbells and doing shoulder press. Yo, if y'all really want to get toned, box. You want your arms to get toned, your back, and all that, bro. I'm telling you, box. And then the core workouts that boxers do, you're not gonna get in better shape than that. Tell me. But anyways, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love. As always, if y'all could go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. You see what I'm saying? I'll be back at y'all 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow to continue cooking up on what's going on in the box world, man. Until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.